Revelation by C.J. Sansom. Narrated by Stephen Crossley.
Chapter 1. The high chandeliers in the great hall of Lincoln's Inn were ablaze with candles, for it was late afternoon when the play began. Most members of Lincoln's Inn were present, the barristers in their robes and their wives in their best costumes. After an hour standing watching, my back was starting to ache, and I envied the few elderly and infirm members who had brought stools. The performance of a play at Lincoln's Inn, traditionally held in March, had been cancelled earlier in the month because of heavy snow. Late in the month now it was still unseasonably cold, the breath of actors and audience visible, wafting up like smoke to the high roof beams. The play that year was a new interlude, The Trial of Treasure, a heavy-handed moral fable with the gorgeously robed actors portraying the vices and virtues of mankind. As the actor playing Virtue, resplendent in pale robes and a long white false beard, lectured dissimulation on his deceitful ways, appropriately perhaps to an audience of lawyers, my attention wandered. I cast my eyes over the shadowed faces of the audience. Treasurer Rowland, a thin-faced, acerbic old man, was eyeing the actors as though wondering whether it might have been better hiring a troupe with less expensive costumes, even if this play required no elaborate scenery. Across from me, I saw my old enemy Stephen Belknap, his greedy pale blue eyes studying his fellow lawyers. Those eyes were never still, would never meet yours, and as he saw me looking at him, his gaze slid away. He was perhaps the crookedest lawyer I had ever come across. It still smarted that 18 months before I had been forced to abandon a case against him through the ruthless machinations of his patron, Richard Rich. It struck me that he looked tired, ill. Some distance away, my friend Roger Elliard, to whose house I was invited to a dinner afterwards, held his wife's hand. A new scene had begun. Lust had made a pact of fellowship with inclination to evil. Embracing him, Lust was suddenly seized with pain and crouched on his knees. "Out, alas, what sudden passion is this? I am so taken that I cannot stand the cramp. The cramp has touched me. I shall die without remedy now, out of hand." The actor, struck down by divine judgment, stretched out a trembling hand to the audience. I saw Belknap look at him with a sort of puzzled contempt. Roger, though, turned suddenly away. I knew why. I would talk to him later. At last, the play ended. The players bowed, the audience clapped, and we got our cold limbs into motion and stepped out into Gatehouse Court. The sun was just setting, illuminating the red brick buildings and the melting snow in the courtyard with an umber light. People walked away to the gate, or if they lived at Lincoln's Inn, stepped homewards, wrapping their coats around them. I waited in the doorway for the Elliards, nodding to acquaintances. The audience were the only ones abroad, for it was a Saturday out of law term, Palm Sunday Eve. I looked across to the Elliards' lodgings. All the windows were lit, and servants could be seen within bustling with trays. Dorothy's dinners were well known around the inn, and even at the end of Lent, with red meat forbidden, I knew that she would have large tabling and good belly cheer for the group they had invited. Despite the cold, I felt relaxed, more peaceful than I had for a long time. In just over a week it would be Easter Sunday, and also the 25th of March, the official start of the new year of 1543. Sometimes in recent years, I had wondered at this time what grim events the coming year might bring. But I reflected that now I had only good and interesting work, and times with good friends to look forward to. That morning while dressing, I had paused to study my face in the steel mirror in my bedroom, something I seldom did, for the sight of my humped back still distressed me. I saw streaks of grey in my hair, deepening lines on my face.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?